welcome to Out Nerdy. I'm Paul and this is my review on The Kingsman, co-written and directed by Matthew Vaughn. It is a prequel to the earlier earlier two films he's done. And what can we say about this film? Well, I'll go into it a bit more, but overall I want to get this out of the way. When I go to, now I'm an idiot I suppose for doing it this way, but when I go to the pictures, the cinema, the flicks, call it whatever you want, when I go to the cinema, I get there, I eat my shit, you know, I eat my nachos and cheese while the ads and the trailers are on. When I go, I don't appreciate the ads having a go at me for being a straight white male who happens to like fucking eating meat. Yeah, just go back to selling your shit. Don't have to have a fucking message. You know, every advert prior to the film and the trailers was a diversity and inclusion fucking story. I don't give a fuck about Audible now having gay fucking alphabet stories. That's not my fault that was never available. That's your fucking fault for never putting it up. For thinking gay people didn't write fucking stories. That's not my fault. That's Audible's fault. The same with fucking, you know, there were fucking all this vegan Beyond Meat adverts. I don't give a fuck. I like eating meat. Don't have a go at me for eating meat. I'm not having a go at you for fucking eating carrots and peas and making everything look and taste like meat, am I? Anyway, that's a bit of a rant. Pissed me off. Oh, and I'm going to sound like a really unfunny bastard here, but the trailers for the films, fucking hell, Scream, again, isn't that fucking the 1990s and early 90s fucking era? You know, it's been done to fucking death. I think Scary Movie's got less sequels than that. And that's probably better. And I'll start watching the sequels, and I get it, right? If I was maybe 20 years younger, perhaps I'd think it's funny. Perhaps if I was 10 again, I'd find it hilarious. But fucking jackass, I'm watching these adverts, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing with yourselves? You're grown fucking men. You should have fucking aged a little bit. The new Jackass film or whatever it was looked about as funny as being repeatedly kicked in the bollocks. Anyway, to the film. Now, the previous two films I've enjoyed. Overall, I've enjoyed. Minus the pretend killing the dog bits and whatever, but they've always been beautifully shot. The pacing has generally been very good. The action scenes have been phenomenal. I mean, it's not on par with The Matrix, but you get it where it's very good scenes. Some of them are quite long takes. They're showing you the fight as it happens. It's not stop, start every time someone throws a punch or a kick. So I have enjoyed them, and overall I did enjoy this film. Overall. So, like I said, I just want to get this out of the way first. I don't know whose historical advisors worked on this film, but I hope they don't use them for fucking... They set up, let's get it out of the way, they set up a sequel in a mid-credit scene. There's going to be spoilers throughout this entire video, so I might as well just do it now. At the end of in the mid-credit scene, they have Lenin meeting Adolf Hitler. Like, be fucking cave. This never happened in real life, at least I don't think so. And even if it did, I think Hitler may still have been in hospital at the time, suffering from a gas attack. I might be wrong. He might have been working for German intelligence. Oh fuck! Working for German intelligence by that time. But let's start with a film. What I dislike most. You all know how World War I started, right? Yeah, you all know it. After all, you know.
I heard that it started when a bloke called Archie Duke shot an ostrich because he was hungry.
But this just took it to a whole new level, right? Now, before I get into the plot, I've waffled now for fucking 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you now. To me, and it won't affect everybody, most people, especially if you're not English or British, but most people won't care. But I found this in parts to be very anti-English, very anti-British, and had the usual fucking white man bad narrative. Yeah? I'm just going to a bit out of context. We find out that Orlando Oxford, or whatever he's called, the Duke of Oxford, won a VC. It tells you in the he won the Victoria Cross for actions. It doesn't say where, but it's either Afghanistan or Sudan. It looks to be like he were fighting with General Gordon of Khartoum, but I doubt that, because obviously they all died. But in it, he makes some bullshit excuse which is against colonialism. Yeah, colonialism is bad, but stop pretending that we're the only fuckers who have done it, and stop pretending that non-white countries never did the same thing, because the history of Africa will tell you that they did. Yeah. But we get some bullshit about how once he got his VC, he transferred from the army, from the infantry to like the Royal Army Medical Corps, which I'm not sure if were even a thing then. I'm sure they didn't come into existence until the beginning of the Boer War. I may be wrong, I accept that, but he switched his rifle for a stretcher because he was fed up with killing people who were doing nothing more than defending their homes. Like, fuck off. Read a bit of history for one. We weren't always the fucking super duper bad uns how fucking lefties like to make us. Anyway, 7 minutes, I've not even talked about the film. we jump in, and it is we're set during the Boer War, and it almost lost me right away, because obviously it's the Boer War, the British are involved. Let's go to a concentration camp. Oh fucking okay then. No context to why concentration camps are there, right? The concentration camps we had were not designed to kill people. They were not death camps. They were not anything that silly fucker with a funny moustache created. Nothing to do with that. They were to concentrate people so we knew who was doing the fighting and who wasn't. In the overall scheme of it, that was what they were for. They were not to punish, they were not to kill. Unfortunately, you're talking about the British Army at that time could barely look after its own men, let alone fucking 10, 15,000 civilians or whatever. Right? So just a little bit of context there. So we start off, and little who becomes grown up Conrad, he's on a trip with the Red Cross with his mum and dad, who her mother gets shot by the Boers, ironically enough. She, like I said, spoilers all the way through, she cops it, and she tells her son that people with privilege should always try and help people. Now, that's a good point. Some would say that's a bit wokey. It's not, because the whole point of, a lot of the Victorian philosophy for the richer people were to try and help where possible. They didn't always follow that, but you can look through a lot of Victorian history and you will find where a lot of reforms are made during the Victorian period. So we fast forward to 1914. We see a secret society, and I'll just come out of it, shall I? This chap, the head, the shepherd, he wants to cause World War One because he's a bitter Scotsman who hates the fucking English. That's right. He creates World War One because the English took his mother and father's mill off them, or some shit. Like, don't get me wrong, it's quite a good. It's not alternative history or anything, because it has lots of principal players, like Gabriello Princip, who shoots the Archduke. We have Mata Hari there. We have some red shirts who we don't even get to know about because they get killed off by you know, the Grand Poobah. So the whole plot of the film is designed to create World War One, which of course happens anyway with these original characters doing what they did. So you had Mata Hari, who's a spy. Gavrilo Princip does kill the Archduke. That's not a spoiler, that happens in history. So we get that. And the main story of it is how Conrad, he wants to go off and do his bit, but the dad won't let him because he made a promise. Well, the dad's a pacifist, or he's outwardly shown to be a pacifist, so people expect that of him if we later find out. So, you know, World War One kicks off. You get. I sometimes think Wonder Woman may have done World War One better than this film does. You know, the trench scene. I'm not sure. It's a toss up between them two. So we end. You know, World War One kicks off. We rush over to Russia because Tsar Nicholas is having Rasputin, who's one of the bad guys, whisper in his ear to pull Russia out of the war. So that happens. Our intrepid heroes run off to try and stop. They stop it. They stop it essentially. They kill Rasputin. We get Conrad ends up. He becomes of age and he now joins up. Obviously he becomes an officer, but the King of England and Conrad's dad, they pull some strings and get him back, you know, to England, so he doesn't have to fight, which he bitterly resents. Obviously, he ends up switching places with a chap, a Lance Corporal, and he goes home, and this guy, you know, Conrad, he ends up donning the Lance Corporal's uniform and goes into the front line. Soon realises it was quite a mistake. He goes out on patrol to retrieve a body what they think is a dead body that's got some sensitive information. They have a really cool knife fight scene between a group of Brits and a group of Germans, and they have a silent knife fight because if they start spouting off rifles and both sides machine guns, they'll decimate them. And like I said, with these Kingsman films, you've always had some really good fight scenes. So I enjoyed it. Like, you know, like I said, they're always very good. Some weird things on it. There's some Germans are wearing gas masks and some others, but there's no gas attack. It's a bit weird. I'm sure it's just for aesthetics and to make them look scary, but it didn't work for me that bit. Anywho, they have a fight. Both sides are pretty evenly matched with the numbers of dead on each side. And then Conrad's about to cop it, so the officer kills the German using his pistol, which sets off both sides firing each other. Everyone's dead except Conrad. He jumps into a shell hole, and him and the person who was trying to escape originally, they have an actor, tells him he's got some secret information that he needs to get back. He carries him, for some reason, this is at night time, but then for some reason we wait till dawn, which militarily would not make any fucking sense whatsoever. And there's also a very big lack of barbed wire on the British side. Helpful enough for this scene, but in real life the Germans could have just fucking walked right in. But anyway, he carries him off to safety, almost gets him into the trench when a mortar comes, boom, and then just blows him into the trench. The secret agent is dead. He comes round and he's got the information, and he's about to, he gives the name and rank of the person he's impersonating. But unfortunately, there's a Scottish soldier a bit further down who knows the actual person for some strange reason, because the plot says so, shoots Conrad in the head. I mean, it makes no sense other than to further the plot. So, Dad does not take it well. He becomes a drunk for however long, it doesn't say the time period, until a super strong female character pulls him out of it. Now, super strong female character. She has a northern accent, even though she's not northern, which is fine, I suppose. But it's just the moment you lay eyes on her, you know she's you know she's the one. You know she's fucking the Matrix is Neo. She's the Luke Skywalker or the Rey Palpatine. So anyway, they snap out of it after getting a bit of a bollocking from the King of England as well, and he dons the suit, and off they go to Russia to stop the main bad guy. There's some good scenes. I really, I enjoyed it where he's like, we're going to fly in and then you're going to jump out of the plane with a parachute. Yes, they did exist. And you're going to land, take everyone out while you kill the bad guys at the bottom. And the look on the guy's face is brilliant. It's like, huh? You can fuck right off. So anyway, the original plan doesn't happen because he obviously says it's bad form to ask someone do something I wouldn't do myself. Very English manner, very, very British, very, very sportsmanlike. So off he goes, he jumps out and ends up flying right into a cliff. But it's really good because they've got mountain goats and the way they, cling to mountains and shit. It's like when you're in junior school or whatever, or infants, and you use 2 walls to climb yourself up. That's what he does essentially. So they take out the bad guys, chaos ensues, and I will say one thing. Our male white heroes do not get the win. Either Strong Woman does it, where she comes in and they have a nice little fight and stuff with Rasputin, and very good. I like a good sword fight. I was brought up on Zorro and a lot of swashbuckling films when I was a kid, so I appreciate, that's why I like Star Wars. It's sword fighting in space. Same with Zorro, or when you watch Errol Flynn's Robin Hood, and it's swashbuckling. I love them kind of films. So this film draws a huge lot of inspiration from them films. But anyway, they have the fight with, we're going back a bit, but they have the fight with the Rasputin. They think they've killed him. They haven't. He goes to kill Conrad and the Duke of Oxford, and enter Strong Woman. Bang! Right between the eyes. Fucking dead shot. And I mean, she's like dead shot. She doesn't fucking mess. I don't know why a woman has really good sniping skills, but there you go. It's never explained. It never shows her firing, hunting pheasant or anything. So anyway, back to the last act. We are fight, some really good scenes. We have Duke of Oxford fighting this fucking giant of a fella. He's throwing knives into him, sticking swords in him. The guy don't go down. And just as this giant is about to kill the Duke of Oxford, Orlando, whatever. Just as he's about to kill him, up pops, person of colour, chops the guy's head off. Your main character doesn't really get the win. You know what I mean? It's not most people won't give a shit about it, but it stands out. It just stands out. So anyway, they have a big showdown with the big bad Scotsman, who was also playing another character, Captain Morton or something. But as soon as you saw this chap as an officer, you knew he was the bad. You knew he was a bad guy. Didn't know he was the bad guy, but right away, as soon as you see him, it's like he's a baddie. He's the mole. He's a spy. Turns out he was the shepherd, which was, you know, like I said, the bit of Scotsman who hated that English. So they have a really cool sword fight scene. Really good. I enjoyed it. Then he gets the upper hand, and we have Orlando hanging off a cliff. Now, in an earlier scene, the shepherd gets pissed and cuts the horn off one of these goats. Right, and it's comedy, it's justice, whatever, but Orlando's hanging off a cliff, about to be killed by, you know, bitter Scotsman, and the goat comes along and stabs him in the leg with his other horn. It's comedic, it's a little bit funny, but you also, you know, okay then, alright, I get it. So they end up dispatching bad angry Scotsman off a cliff. The end scene is what we get in The Kingsman, The Golden Circle, where he describes how the Kingsmen were formed. So you've got some aristocrats around the table. Well, not aristocrats. You've got the Duke of Oxford and the King around the table, and they pledge money to create a independent spy agency. We get a mid-credit scene where we have, I shit you not, Lenin. I've told you already, haven't I? We get a mid-credit scene where we've got Lenin meeting Hitler. So the setting, whether they make a part 2, whether they make a sequel to this, I don't know, but they're firmly setting up another film. But since that World War II happened, I don't know what historical gymnastics they're going to do for that. Like I said, overall, I found it entertaining. The fight scenes were brilliant, as you'd expect. Music, there's lots of... The score is intermittent with the original Kingsman theme, so I enjoyed the music to it. A lot of it is good. A lot of it is good, I'm not going to lie. But also, I'm not going to lie when I say the bits that let it down might only be my problem, or that of my wife as well. Most people, it will probably just slide over their heads, especially if they don't know history and if they're not English or British. Also, a lot of it, at every fucking point in this film, Britain is on the verge of losing the war. The German, we're told towards the end of the film, the German blockade is causing the British people to starve. This was never, ever the case. The British blockade, on the other hand, was starving Germany from fucking 1916 onwards. One of the main reasons Germany was defeated was because there was no food at all coming for the home front. German soldiers were living off fucking dead horses, acorn for fucking coffee, and sawdust for fucking bread. But the film consistently portrays Britain as fucking losing the war, which was never the case. At least up until March 1918, during the Michael Offensive, where British troops were pushed back a bit, and even then they possibly were never going to lose. But that's why I said the historical. If they did have an historical advisor, that fucker needs firing. Either that, or it was just Matthew Vaughan's slant of, oh, let's make Britain look weak. Let's make Britain look fucking weak. So them bits fucking annoyed me. You know, you took a good film and you put your own spin on history. Now, I can forgive the secret society bullshit because Gabriello Princip was in a secret society. That's fact. But when you start, you know, it just felt like you was just downplaying Britain at every fucking opportunity. We were either weak or we were evil. That was it. That was the only two fucking thoughts that he had on Britain for early 20th century Britain. Anyway, I've gone on for 25 minutes. I don't even know if any of this makes sense. But anyway, like I said, so will I watch this film again? Possibly, but not at the pictures. I'll just watch it when it comes on streaming, Netflix or whatever. Did it hold my attention? Yes, it did. Did it entertain me? When I weren't fucking rolling my eyes or questioning the historical accuracy, yes. Now, I'm not a rivet counter by any fucking means. You know, I can accept good historical fiction. But this was just a stretch for me at times, too much. Would I suggest you watching at the pictures? No, I would say wait. Even though I want to promote good films, and this is a good film, you know, once you leave that aside. But I don't think this is... if you do, go for a matinee version. Go for a midday if you can, where you're not paying, you know, £15-16 for a ticket. Which isn't fair because I've missed the pictures. You know, during this whole silly Rona bullshit. I have missed being able to go to the pictures. Not so much in 2020 because all the films were shite. At least this year we've had some good films. And some films, unfortunately, I had to watch on pirate because we weren't allowed to go to the pictures in England. Anyway, fucking 27 minutes later. Right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I rambled on, but fuck it, it's my video. At the very least, it might help you sleep if you're bored. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find me on social media. And I will see you again. Ta-ra for now.